After Rigondeaux has obviously lost to Casemiro 2 nights ago, or a night ago, I was just thinking, I think Rigondeaux might be the most unfairly treated boxer in the recent era. If you think about it, I'm sure there's been many fighters that have been screwed over in the past and have never been given opportunities and never been given the rights that they deserve for their talent. But if you take into account that Rigondeaux is probably one of the greatest amateurs that the sport has ever seen, he's a double gold medalist, right? On top of that, he's managed to get a gold medal on several international world-class tournaments against the best amateurs in the world. This is a fighter, when he actually turned professional, before he turned professional, he had to sell his gold medal to feed his kids. Like, just imagine that, right? I mean, if anyone gets a gold medal in America or the UK, automatically they're given a multi-million pound contract. I mean, look at what happened with Anthony Joshua. Look at what happened with Amir Khan. Amir Khan won a silver medal, so he didn't even win a gold medal. He won a silver medal, and he managed to get all these endorsements with Reebok and such. If you look at like Floyd Mayweather, for example, Floyd Mayweather didn't even win a silver medal. He won a bronze medal, and he still became a millionaire by the time he was 21. And now you've got Rigondeaux, who's a double gold medalist, right? And then he's put in a position where nobody wants to fight him. So when he was at his peak, when he was in his prime, after he beat Nonito Donaire, everyone ducked him. Abner Mares ducked him. Leo Santa Cruz ducked him. Carl Frampton ducked him. I mean, nobody wanted to fight this guy, right? Okay, so he gets ducked. On top of that, before he had his fight against Lomachenko, right, where he had to go up 2 weight classes to fight a beast like Lomachenko, right? And that's another thing. If you compare the way Lomachenko got treated, who's another double gold medalist, and you compare it to the way that Rigondeaux got treated, who's already obviously a double gold medalist. I mean, Rigondeaux got a title fight, I think, in his third fight. I think he's one of the quickest world champions ever. While Rigondeaux obviously had to go through a couple of fights, but eventually did win a world title. But then when he's about to fight Lomachenko, they say to him, "Listen, if you win the fight against Lomachenko, we'll let you keep your title. But if you don't win the fight, we're going to strip you." I mean, what's that about? This is a guy that's after he won his fight against Nonito Donaire in a fight of the year, performance of the year type performance. I think that was one of the best performances I've seen in recent years when that fight actually happened. Bob Arum and other boxing promoters blackballed him and never gave him a proper fight, and the only fight they gave him was against Lomachenko. And in the Lomachenko fight, I think Lomachenko made 1.3 million, while Rigondeaux only made 400k. I mean, you got a fighter of the talent of Rigondeaux, right, who's an undefeated world champion, who's a double gold medalist, who's won 3 different world titles. He goes up 2 weight classes to fight Lomachenko, and he's only paid 400k. And the fact is, right, it's not actually 400k if you take into account you got taxes, right? So he's probably down to 200k. Then you got training expenses. So let's just say that's about 50k. He's only left with 150k of his 400k purse probably, while Lomachenko is walking away with 1.3 million. I mean, it's incredible. This is the way that a double gold medalist is being treated. And on top of that, if you look at the way the commentators speak about him, Jim Lampley and other HBO executives used to just call him boring. They never used to appreciate his skill. I mean, this might be the most unfairly treated fighter in recent years. If you take into account what he achieved as an amateur, the way he got treated in the professional rank, I mean, I can't think of a fighter that's been treated worse than Rigondeaux in terms of the boxing politics screwing him over. The fact that when he quit in the Lomachenko fight, obviously I don't condone a fighter quitting. I think he should go out on your shield. When he quit in the Lomachenko fight, the fact remains that basically, in a way, he was set up to fail, because when he went up 2 weight classes, he's going up there and against the master boxer like Lomachenko, who himself is a double gold medalist. And I mean, look at what Lomachenko has gone on to accomplish, right? You're going up there against a fight like that, and literally, you're giving away every advantage. On top of that, you don't even get paid that well for the fight, even though you're a double gold medalist yourself. I mean, it's ridiculous, and this is the way they treat a legend like Rigondeaux. It's ridiculous. Of course, look at his last fight against Casemiro. I thought Casemiro lost that fight against Rigondeaux. I thought Rigondeaux won. I thought Rigondeaux was the one that got all the goal, was the one that landed all the punches, and he avoided all of Casemiro's shots. So by default, he should have won that fight. On top of that, the scorecards were ridiculous, like 9 rounds to 3 in Casemiro's favour. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, this is how they treat a fighter of the class of a Rigondeaux. So in my opinion, in terms of the amount of talent that he has, I think Rigondeaux is the most unfairly treated fighter that I've seen in recent years. And there's been many fighters. I mean, there's been many fights that have been screwed over, but if you take into account the level of talent that he has, he shouldn't be treated like this. I mean, I'm not saying you should like put him on a pedestal, but the way they treat Lomachenko, the way they talk about his amateur credentials, which is incredible, but they don't put Rigondeaux on that same pedestal. It's not fair, is it? But anyway, that's just my opinion. Tell me your opinion. Who do you think is another fighter that's been unfairly treated? I mean, to put it into perspective, though, right? I feel like Rigondeaux does have one thing going for him. He did become a 3-time world champion in 2 weight classes. I think he's won 4 world titles, if I'm not mistaken, right? So he's won 4 world titles. On top of that, he's a double gold medalist, probably one of the greatest amateur boxers ever, right? And on top of that, at his peak, he was like a top 5 pound for pound type fighter. He was on a pound for pound list. A lot of people did have him on that list, rightly so. And let's be real, if he was on Cuba and he didn't go all the way to the US to turn professional, he wouldn't be earning anywhere close to this type of money that he's making. So even though he's being ripped off in terms of financially, the amount of money that he's making for his skill, he wouldn't be making a tenth of this in Cuba if he would have stayed in Cuba and kept doing what he was doing. So even though he never fulfilled his potential because of the boxing politics and he got unfairly screwed over many times. I mean, in his last fight, I thought he got robbed. The fight against Lomachenko, he had to go up 2 weight classes to fight an animal like Lomachenko. I mean, it's incredible. And on top of that, he never got the red carpet treatment, despite the fact that he was a double gold medalist. I mean, despite everything that he's done, he still doesn't get the respect from the fans. Everyone just keeps chastising him, saying his style is boring, which is true to some extent. I'm not saying he's got the most exciting style, but at the same time, you gotta give the guy some respect, man. I mean, look at what the guy accomplished in terms of his amateur career, his professional career. I mean, he's an incredible fighter, but for some reason, he just doesn't get the respect that he deserves. But my point is this: despite all of that, I think it's incredible. I think it's incredible how the sport has treated a fighter of this level of talent. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And I think he can still hold his head up high to some extent, because regardless of what you think about him, I mean, he's a true fighter. He's a fighter that's come from nothing, from Cuba. He sold his gold medal to feed his family. He came all the way to America. I mean, he won 3-4 world titles in 2 different weight classes. He became a top 5 pound for pound fighter. I mean, most fighters don't even get that far. Most fighters don't win 1 gold medal, never mind 2. And on top of that, he went this far, and he really went for it, man. He really went to pursue his goals, but obviously it didn't work out because of the boxing politics that stopped him from getting there. But the fact remains, real recognise real, and I think real boxing fans do recognise the genius of Rigondeaux. They would give his props, and he is probably one of the greatest Cuban fighters. Not in terms of accomplishments, but in terms of pure skill, I think he's definitely up there. He's one of the greatest Cuban professional fighters that I've ever seen, and I've seen a few good ones. I've seen Erislandy Lara, I've seen Luis Ortiz, I've seen Gamboa, I've seen several good fighters that have turned professional, and I think he's definitely one of the best, in my opinion. So yeah, that's my opinion on him. Tell me your opinion. What do you think about him? Do you think he's one of the most unfairly treated fighters in the sport? And I think he clearly is. I think he definitely is up there as one of the most unfairly treated fighters. But that's just my opinion. Like and subscribe for more content. I've got a lot more content coming your way. Peace out.